Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism, your source for family, parenting, and all things autism and special needs. Created by our family for your family. Live from the Ed Asner Family Center. And now your hosts, Navah and Matt Asner.
Hello and welcome to the Ed Asner Family Center's Brady Bunch of Autism.
Welcome, everyone. This is our sixth show,
Episode number 6. I'm Matt Asner.
And I'm Navah Paskowitz-Asner.
And we're coming to you live from the Ed Asner Family Center.
That's right.
In Van Nuys, California. So what's new, Navah?
Well, we're in the midst of the academy still.
Yeah.
We just started our spring semester. We're at capacity for the first time in the academy's career.
That's great.
And I'm very, very proud of that. We're just moving right along.
Great. And we've got some exciting new partners in the pipeline and stuff is hopping and we're kind of firing on all cylinders, right?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Talk about that on another show. But if people are interested in the academy, do they write you? What should they do?
Well, we, like I said, we're at capacity and we have a waiting list for our fall semester. So if you're interested in our unique job training program for adults over 18, reach out to me, navah@teafc.org.
All right. So we're a little late in getting this episode out to people. We've been
is the most Brady Bunch of Autism thing of all.
It is. We've been very busy. The family's been crazy. We had Mother's Day, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been busy. It's been busy. One thing we've been doing a lot of, though, is watching things. We've been catching up on our television. That's not really why we're late doing the podcast, but we have been catching up on.
This is something that Matt really enjoys doing.
I do. I love my television.
He loves coming home and relaxing.
I do.
Watching.
One thing that I'm watching right now that I'm excited about is Survivor, because there is an autistic contestant on Survivor.
I've never watched this show.
And I don't know what's going to happen. It's on tonight, but it was on a couple nights ago. I haven't seen it yet. And I think what's going to happen is, she's really a very honest person. You're yawning. She's really a very no, it's the final 7, right? And
awesome.
She's a very honest person, right? So she believes in the people that she's made this alliance with, right? And I think she's going to get her heart broken is what's going to happen. And it's going to happen probably in the next episode. What do you think? You think that? You weren't even listening to me.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the other thing we watched together.
Okay.
Which was, and if you haven't seen it yet, you have to watch it. It's called The Pit.
No, that was exciting.
On HBO.
That was one where we binged it.
And I had initially avoided this because
It's very graphic. If you are afraid of blood or gore,
don't watch it.
Extremely graphic. There's a very graphic birthing scene.
Oh, yeah, it is quite graphic. Quite graphic.
Yeah.
Well,
I know a lot of people who have said, I started watching it and then I just couldn't handle it.
Well, I resisted it because I just thought, it's just ER. Basically, it's just
or another
ER.
Doctor.
It's Noah Wiley. It's ER. It's just ER, right?
I think it's
oh my God, was I wrong?
And my dad actually worked in an emergency room.
Yeah.
And it is the most real version of any doctor show I have ever seen.
Well, and with that comes something very special, which is one of the doctors, and this is an interesting setup because one of the doctors has an autistic sister.
Yes.
And it plays a part in who she is as a person. But more our dog is
snoring
underneath our feet, and he's
snoring really loud.
You can probably hear him if you listen hard. Right? So she is an autistic. She has an autistic sister, but the great thing is they don't really say anything about this, but you can certainly tell that this woman is neurodivergent herself.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, she is really on the spectrum.
Yes.
And you can tell.
They never say it, but there's so many things that she does that are just so textbook autism.
But and that's the thing. How many families have someone who's autistic, and the other sibling you meet and you think, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But the part of the doctor is played expertly by Taylor Dearden, who is also Bryan Cranston's daughter.
Right.
And boy, does she! I mean, she really hits a home run with this.
Yeah.
I
I thought every single character was equally great, but she was my favorite of all the characters. But the show was just phenomenal from beginning to end. One of the kind of the controversial interns, and I can't remember her name, but our number 3 went to middle school with her, Isa Briones.
Oh, yeah.
And I recognized her, and I kept saying to her, I know that face, such a beautiful girl. And she went to school with Maxie.
And she's very good. Everyone's so good at this.
Amazing.
And Noah Wiley is the executive producer of this, and he also wrote a lot of the episodes. And
you can tell how personal this story is for him.
Yeah.
There's a couple parts in it that he says were directly from his own personal experience, like when his, I think it was his either his grandmother or his grandfather died.
Yeah.
And that experience where the kids are in the room with the parent.
Oh my God.
It just really.
I know, it really just
beautiful.
Great. And he, his mother is an ER nurse.
Yeah.
And, the interesting thing about this is, he did ER for how many years? 7, 8 years?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I don't think she ever said to him, boy, that's very real. I don't think she ever said that to him.
Yeah.
And this time she actually said to him, that's very real. And I don't know if I can even watch that.
Yeah. A lot of people have written to them and have given the same kind of review that it's, and, like I said, my dad was an ER doctor. When we were traveling around and he was a missionary doctor, I was his nurse.
Yeah.
So I had to get my hands bloody and get into it because there were no other doctors around for hundreds of miles. So my dad just grabbed the first kid he could see and say, hey, you're my nurse. And it's that those episodes were as real as, they were just, it was real, sometimes really hard to watch. I mean, I know I cry very easily, but that some of the episodes were very, very difficult. And I love that they did have that autism factor, and they talked about how she picked up roots and moved to the Pittsburgh,
right?
Because her sister had an opportunity to get into a great
program.
residential and day program, and it was just like really wonderful that they had all those different elements. And our good friend Kobe Bird was also in it.
And
I
think
think there was another young woman who I'll look up her name as we're talking.
Oh, well, she played her sister.
Who played her sister, and it was just wonderful to see people from the community also involved, and just a really good show. If you haven't seen it, go watch The Pit.
It's fantastic, and you should watch it. And let us know what you think of it. Drop us a line. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you agree with us about Taylor Dearden's performance, because it is very special, very special. We were talking about emergency room, and you were telling me that you were your dad's nurse, and it reminded me of an interview I did for Hiroshima. And I'm getting off the track here, but I always do that. I interviewed this man who was a prisoner of war with the Japanese. He was a contractor and was actually taken prisoner by the Japanese when he was a contractor. So he never actually was a soldier in the war. He was just a contractor in the war. And he was very tall and big. And so they made him the camp anesthesiologist. And do you know why?
Why?
Because he was the biggest man in the camp. And so when they needed to operate on people, he had to sit on them.
Oh, my God.
Because they actually had no anesthesia. Kind of interesting, right? What a horrible
Because
thing.
They were doing like...
Yeah, I mean, they needed him because he was heavy. and he was like 6'8", 6'7". Really
Amputations.
interesting story. Amazing
Awful.
guy. I was honored to sit with him for an hour and a half or so and hear his story. So the other thing we watched, I digress. The other thing we watched was Love on the Spectrum. We binged it. It was a binge. I think we watched it in 2 nights, right?
I think so.
And I thought it was the best season ever.
I agree.
And for the there's a couple of main reasons. I mean, everyone kind of everyone's dealing with something pretty heavy.
Yeah.
In this season, and I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but there's a moment with Connor where, are you okay?
Yeah.
There's a moment with Connor and his the girl that he
His
sees.
demi-goddess.
The girl that he sees, I can't remember her name. What is her name?
Georgie.
Georgie, thank you.
Yeah.
There's a moment with Connor and Georgie that I think is one of the most pure and beautiful moments I think I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And it's become many, many a meme.
Really? A meme?
Yeah, meme.
That's
Been
Nava's
making-
word for meme.
Meme. It's become many a meme.
Mimi. I like Mimi. I think Mimi's good.
Because it's everyone's comparing their relationship.
Well, I mean, it's I think, there are goals there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have this situation where he is discovering the beauty of love, and you see it happening, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It's profound.
It's beautiful.
It's so gorgeous.
And his almost panic at one point because he's like out of control. He doesn't know.
He's
overwhelmed.
He's overwhelmed.
And she puts her hand up on his cheek and she's like, "It's okay. It's
oh
okay."
no, just so sweet.
I love Georgie. I
So
absolutely
sweet.
love Georgie. And I love him too.
And just so gentle and
Yeah.
wonderful. And it's just, you think as a parent, you're thinking, my God, I hope that our kids who are on the spectrum have a situation that is that gentle and
Yeah.
loving and beautiful. It was just so great to see that.
And exactly those going on from that is that the delight and the joy and the nervousness of his mom and his sister who didn't want to, they didn't want to overdo it. They don't want him to think they're like too excited and he kept, saying to them, "You better not do this. You better." And the mom and the sister are so nervous that they're going to, when they first meet Georgie, that was wonderful
Exactly.
too. But I think there's a lot of new characters. I still love, and I thought it was so real when Danny talked to
Aiden.
the young man because
Was Adan.
Idan, yeah.
Adan.
Because he spoke his truth and he wasn't ready for something, but Danny, as a beautiful young healthy young woman, spoke her truth too, and I was so proud of her. We've known Danny since she was
8,
a little tiny girl,
Yeah,
and
I
that
think
she's
I
a
met her
grown
when she was
woman saying, "This is what I want for my relationship," and I applaud, and I'm so proud of her self-advocacy that she's able to.
Because that's what we
do
want
that.
our kids to do, right?
Absolutely.
We want our kids to, to advocate for themselves and to speak up and to.
She was amazing, but
tell people what they
the new crew were amazing. The young woman from Boston, who's wants to go the tea princess.
Terrific day.
I love her. I hope to meet her one day. I hope that she comes and visits the center, and we wanted to welcome any and all of those folks to our center. I know our friends Abby and David have been here many times, and obviously Danny, but you're always welcome at the center.
Maybe we'll start having guests.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we'll have people on, and we'll arrange that.
Yeah.
I think I know how to do it. So pretty soon we're going to have guests. Maybe in the next episode,
Yes.
2 episodes from now.
Well, we also, one of the things that we're going to do not every episode, but as many as we can, is we're going to give little tidbits into our academy, into our day program. So in our next segment, we're going to meet an amazing young man who has started at the academy and is in our podcasting 101 class, and that
We
is
still have
Asher.
we still have one thing to talk about, though.
I know, but we're going
Or
to.
you're just kind of like setting it up.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I'm throwing things at Matt's head.
No, don't
Silently.
Don't throw things at me. So
You're lucky we made it to 10 years.
well, it's almost 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm in it for the long haul.
No, I mean, it's interesting because you mentioned like that we mentioned love on the spectrum. We
Yeah.
mentioned those are goals.
Yeah.
We are definitely 10 years into our marriage, but I think we still look at each other with love. I do.
Okay.
I think we still do. I think you do. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's move on from that.
Okay. Oh, now I feel like I've been crushed.
Oh, my God. You're so needy.
Of course I'm needy. I'm a man.
Not all men are needy.
Most men are.
Really?
Yeah.
I have 8 brothers. I don't know anything about men.
They just show you in different ways
Okay.
that they're needy. So Mother's Day.
I had a wonderful Mother's
Well,
Day.
first of all, let me just say that I think you are the greatest mother.
Thank you.
And I speak from.
Well, I have the greatest
I
children,
speak from
too.
experience because I had the greatest mother.
Oh.
And-
No. I had the greatest
Well, we
mother.
both did.
Your
We
mom
both
was
did.
your mom was much nicer than my mom. God rest my mom's soul. But we both had really wonderful mothers.
Well, they were both characters,
Yes.
and they were both creative
Yes.
and artistic. And
My mom was a little more outspoken.
your mom
She
was a
didn't-
little more
she-
colorful.
She spoke her mind.
If you've seen Surfwise, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
She spoke her mind, that's for sure.
But you are a person. You're a mom. You are a mom through and through. And I mean, everything you do with a mom's sensibility. Even what you do at the center. Is
Well, I
with a
feel like
mom's sensibility.
all of the participants are my kids.
Yeah.
And
And
I
you
know
can
the
see
staff thinks of me as their mom too.
But you can see that.
Yeah.
And that takes a very special thing. So congratulations on that. It's
Thank you. I
pretty
had a
amazing
wonderful
thing.
Mother's Day. I got to do everything I wanted to do, and we had a wonderful dinner at the incredible Ma's Italian Kitchen in Burbank, California. And let's talk a little bit about Ma's,
Yes.
the amazing Michelle La. Oh,
I'm not gonna help you. I'm not going to help you. I can say it myself, though. Ready?
I've been
It's
practicing Michelle
Lechasser.
No,
It is.
Lou. It's Lou.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's
All you French
Michelle Lechasser.
speakers, please help us.
And Michelle is the owner of Ma's Italian
Yes,
Kitchen.
the most incredible Italian food.
And we're honoring Michelle at our poker tournament, which is coming up on June 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And there are still tickets available. You can get them at teafc.org. And you look up the poker, the poker ad, and you click on it and then order a ticket. And, we actually slashed prices this year because LA's hurting.
Yeah.
And we need to help as much as we can, but we also need to raise money. So we ended up deciding to slash prices, and we did.
And where in California can you get an incredible dinner from Ma's Italian Kitchen and an open bar for $100 non-player ticket? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean
It's crazy.
And if you want to play, what is it? How much is it to play?
You should know that.
I think it's $200 to play, or 175. Maybe.
Just don't quote it.
175, I think. I don't know. Go to the website, you'll find it. Anyway, it's a bargain.
Yes, it
because
is.
you get all the food and drink, plus you get to play.
And you're shoulder to shoulder with celebrities.
And the great thing about our poker tournament is you go to a table, you sit at a table, and all of a sudden there's a celebrity over there. There's a person over there that's been in this. There's a person in there that's been in that. Pretty incredible. And we This is our 13th year doing this. And it happens at Radford Studio Center in Studio City. This is our 4th year there. And it's fun. Fun. Even if you don't play poker, if you just want to come hang out and drink and eat and just hang out and see wonderful people, that is how you do it. It's a great thing. Get your tickets.
And we have an incredible auction. There's lots to do.
Yeah.
There's lots to do. There's more non-players than players. And people really, it's, I think, the most incredibly fun event we do every year.
Okay. So we have a podcasting class, and you mentioned this earlier. And each week we're going to feature one of our participants' podcasts, and it's going to be either an excerpt or the whole thing. They also do ads during the podcast, and it's a great way for them to show their creative flair. And
they're all really excited to be a part of our podcast.
They are.
It's kind of like, they're getting their feet wet into the world of podcasting, and we're just really excited for our community to get a little peek into the academy. So our first participant podcaster is Asher.
actually, it's our second.
Is it?
Yeah,
Who
because
was our first? Zoe Frankel.
Was
Okay,
Zoe
I'm sorry.
was our first one.
Okay, so Zoe, Asher S.
Yes.
Is going to come up right now, and Max is our podcasting instructor, and Max and Asher are going to be
entertaining you.
Yes,
with the topic of the day, which is Asher's topic. So Asher and Max, take it away.
Hey everyone, this is Asher and my co-host Max, and welcome to Music Junkies. Today we'll be discussing some musicians, bands, and why we love them. And for instance, what does the band do, how popular they are, etc., etc. Now, with all that out of the way, let's begin.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been talking about wanting to do sort of a show about music for a while.
Yeah. Just glad we finally have the time of day.
For sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both avid music listeners.
Yes.
I'm a musician myself. I work on music outside of the center all the time. You play also, right?
Well, I used to. I took drumming for, I believe it was a year or so, and I played piano a lot during my elementary school years, but since then I've kind of stopped.
Gotcha. That's cool, though. So let's talk about, I guess, some of our favorite bands first.
Okay. Sure. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I would love to. So for me, I went through a lot of different sort of evolving tastes in music as I was younger and stuff like that. I was introduced to a lot of music from my parents. But as I got older, it's funny because it's I kind of went on my own route of liking bands and sort of finding my own tastes and stuff. And then as I get older, I find myself returning so much to the music that my parents showed me. And a lot of my favorite bands are stuff that's not really of my generation. It's more of my parents' generation now. But I also do have a ton of modern artists that I love and look up to and stuff. But right now, I would say that my favorite band is probably Interpol. I love them. I love sort of what they do with the style. They do sort of a post-punk, sort of down-tempo, New York City, sort of emo-ish.
I've also noticed it's almost there's a little bit of kind of goth influence in the singing,
totally.
especially.
100%. That sort of style of singing I'm crazy about. I think it's so great. I think it's very expressive. Something that I think goes missing a lot in modern music, particularly top 40 stuff, is I think with autotune and all these sort of tools that musicians have now that they didn't have in the past. It's sure, your recording might not be perfect melody wise. You might not be hitting the exact note every take, but it's I think there was that relied or caused artists to have to sort of rely a little bit more on the emotion of the performance and the delivery of it and stuff like that. And bands like Interpol or bands that are, producing things in a sort of more traditional way, still sort of have that. And Paul Banks, who's the lead singer of Interpol, like you were saying, does sort of lean into that goth vibe, and it's so awesome.
I mean, you wouldn't necessarily think that kind of having a bit of a droning voice would sort of work when it comes to music like that, but it really just kind of goes together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, it does. It totally does.
As for myself, I was sort of indoctrinated into a whole bunch of music as a kid. I mainly had a lot of classic rock / alternative, and like sort of the first kind of rumblings of heavy metal with like Led Zeppelin and The Who and ZZ Top and everything.
Like the really prototypical bands that sort of started it.
On my mom's side, I sort of got into the soul music, a lot of like acoustic guitars, anything from Sheryl Crow to Simon and Garfunkel and the such. And it's as of recently, ever since getting Spotify, I've kind of gone on various musical journeys myself, and I can sort of go all over the spectrum when it comes to listening to music. It's, in my opinion, as long as it has a catchy rhythm or, a catchy tune, or they're incorporating their use of instruments in very experimental / strange ways that sort of pique my attention, I'll listen to it.
I agree. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. I think when I was younger, I would kind of like sort of put myself into one genre in my listening a lot more, and sort of be like, this is what I listen to. But it's like, I think as you sort of listen more and more and sort of delve deeper into music and just get deeper into it and deeper into the expression of it, really, it's like that's really the metric. It's like when I listen to it, does it excite me? I don't really care about the genre. I don't really care about all these sort of pieces that you might care about when you're younger. And it kind of just becomes like, am I feeling something when I'm hearing it?
Yeah. I mean, it's for me at least. I've noticed that, especially in my family, it's like my immediate family. My father will go a bit harsh when it comes to music. Like I'd say probably Led Zeppelin is sort of or Husker Du are kind of the two bands that would be the most intense that he'd listen to. But I've kind of pivoted off of that, and I'm a massive metal fan myself, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, I can listen to a lot of screamo, and some people say it's just noise, but I don't know. It's just a way to get out your aggression without, doing anything to hurt somebody or saying anything that would offend somebody. It's more like you're kind of able to put your heart and soul into what you're singing, so you end up becoming a very humble and sort of wholesome person in real life because you're able to get a lot of stuff off your chest when you're
I love that.
In front of a crowd.
For sure, I totally love that. I'm into metal music too. I'm into hardcore music and like, stuff that, like some people I think tend to write more distorted music or louder music off as noise or whatever. If it's too loud, you're too old. You know what I mean? That sort of vibe. Yeah. But like, I think for the same reasons, it's like, it's still a worthwhile and like important version of musical expression in that it is about channeling, aggression and channeling frustration and stuff like that. And it's like, that is also like a totally valid and worthwhile usage of music as artistic expression. Yeah,
I think I actually remember doing a little bit of research specifically on metal music. There's a lot of things that are they share a lot of similarities with classic music in that, especially when it comes to symphonic metal and the orchestral score, they've taken that a lot
100%
from classical music. And I've also learned that a lot of people, such as myself, that like metal are actually some of the more kind of calm and sort of wholesome types of people because we get our energy out by listening to some heavy music that could have some taboo subjects or whatnot, but we use that sort of as a way to kind of cope with the crazy world that we live in right now.
Totally, absolutely. And also like on a musical level, like more on a melodic or like sort of a technical level with music, metal is also so awesome because it's very technically
extremely
intricate. You know what I mean? It's difficult to play. It's kind of a measure of somebody's skill in a way, which is super cool. Like, I mean, for me when I was a kid, and listening to like the Metallica records and stuff like that was, and being like a young kid wanting to learn how to play the guitar. That was so like Kirk Hammett was like the pinnacle, you know what I mean? Like he was like, oh my God, I wish I could learn how to play like him one day and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show you that like whenever you get into any field, especially music, it just takes practice, and it's not only the people that play guitars, play the bass, or play the drums. It's also the singers, especially if they don't want to ruin their voice by death growling or anything. There's a very specific way of being able to sing without causing your vocal cords like irreparable damage or something.
Yeah, and that takes like crazy training and stuff like that to be able to do, particularly what the metal guys do with all that, like the death growling and all those like real, or even like the super high sort of screechy things that guys do nowadays.
I still find it so hard to believe that like a lot of these musicians don't get laryngitis from being able to sort of wail for extended periods of time. But it's sort of an art form in the end of the day. So, I'm always kind of looking to see what's next on the agenda, and I'd say Spotify's really helped me out. It's just, I can listen to so much stuff, and I write a lot about it on like blogs. I've been blogging for a very, very long time. And
that's cool.
I don't know. I find it's just an infinite rabbit hole that you can just dive into and never get out of.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that, particularly like in the modern day with Spotify and sort of music being so accessible now, it's really sort of taken on a new form in terms of like the experience of listening to music. I actually even feel as like for me personally, it's like I think music becoming so readily available all the time, and I think I sort of have like a weird relationship to listening to music just because I'm a musician. I write music, so it's like I have like it's like. I remember when I was working at a restaurant one time, my boss, my head chef, he would come downstairs and I would be like working on prepping something and I would be doing it in silence, like not listening to anything. And he's like, dude, you have the speaker down here. Like you could be putting music on. Are you like a serial killer? You're like not listening to music while you're working. And I would just be like, dude, sometimes like, it's like, for me, it's not always relaxing or helping me focus. Like, cause for me with music, this is just a personal thing. I just feel like some people listen to music when they work or do homework and stuff like that.
Of course.
I've never been like that. Like I could never do that because it always made me, it was always too distracting for me. Like it would honestly, like my attention would shift off of whatever I was supposed to be doing, and I would be listening to the music too much. Like my brain doesn't work like that.
It's kind of the opposite for me. I've sort of learned from experience on kind of how to multitask. But say I'm in the kitchen cooking something, I won't be listening to death metal or something to get me super pumped up. It's usually
listening to Raining Blood.
Yeah, raining blood while you're, I don't know, preparing a steak or something.
While you're making like deviled eggs. It's like super like.
I know, it's for me, it's more I'll be listening to something that's usually an instrumental rock piece or occasionally lo-fi and chill, just something to kind of get you in the mood. And since I live alone, I can kind of play what I want, but.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's it's different from everybody, but
yeah, I mean, it sets the tone. Certain things like that, like if it's like cooking, I'm fine. It's not like I'm gonna be like, I literally can't do this. I just mean like stuff where it requires like more sort of like pointed, I don't know, pointed sort of informational focus or something like that. If it's more task oriented, physical task oriented, I couldn't do it. It's just like something for me. That's always been a struggle. Is like trying to like write an essay while I'm like listening to music. Not my vibe.
No,
can't do that.
You got to use so many parts of your brain to do
exactly
various things. Well, it appears that our time has come to a close. It's been a pleasure having you on, Max, and hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you have a lovely day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Until next time, peace.
Right. Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, Asher and Max, thank you very much. That was awesome.
Very awesome. And Asher is, as I said, one of our participants from our Academy program. And if you're interested in the Academy or any of our programs, don't forget to reach out to Blanca, Blanca, Blanca at teafc.org.
So I just want to say something before, I don't think I've ever talked about this on the podcast, but almost 3 years ago.
PJ?
Almost 3 years ago, you gave me an incredible birthday present.
Aw.
And
that you absolutely hated.
I didn't want
first.
it.
You were
I didn't want it.
Never.
No, I didn't want it. And I was happy with just the cat and the dog that we have. I was happy with that. And the dog that we have is very energetic.
We have 2 cats, by the way.
We have 2 cats that are.
I was happy with 1 cat.
I was happy with both cats.
Okay.
But and the panda.
And the panda.
Panda's a little
giant sheepdog,
little rambunctious.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting or anticipating another dog in our lives. But we did bring one in. Navah got me an incredible little Pekingese for my birthday, and we named it Gizmo because he looked like Gizmo from the movie Gremlins. He looked like a Mogwai. And the second I saw him, I fell in love. Mm-hmm. And that love has just grown and grown and grown. And he comes to work with me every day.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here doing this podcast, and he came in and he sat on a chair next to me for a little bit. And now he's under our feet.
I'm going to take a picture.
And you can post it. But he is just, I don't know, he has become my emotional support dog.
Absolutely. I mean, he's everyone's emotional support dog.
Oh, that's the thing. If you come to the center, you will notice that he is there, and he is a part of what we do here.
Yeah.
And he, I think the participants are just, happy to see him, and he is amazing. He's 2.5 years old, and he acts like a dog that's well beyond his years, and he's very mature. He knows he's working. He knows, he's here at the center performing a job, because when he gets home, it's a different story, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that as soon as he gets home and he sees Panda, he knows that he can let loose
and go crazy.
And he really is the aggressor of the 2. I mean, Panda's a giant sheepdog, and Gizmo's a tiny little guy.
He's the alpha.
And he's definitely the alpha.
Yeah.
But no, we've even used him in some therapy appointments when we've had some kids that are a little nervous. He's just a soothing, wonderful, constant kind of companion / he's our not our guard dog.
he's our support dog.
He's our what is it called when the football team has a mascot? He's our mascot.
He's the center mascot for sure.
Yes.
And just a great dog.
Wonderful dog.
I thought I'd mention him just to get all kind of bubbly and fuzzy.
Well, we want to thank you guys for being a part of our show and a part of our community. And we are so happy to be a part of your lives and come into your home or office or car. Next week, we're going to be talking about one of our new job training partnership sites. And
we'll announce it next week.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
That's a good idea.
So thank you guys again for being a part of our show, and we just wanted to say have a wonderful week until we see you next. And Matt, have a wonderful week. Keep drinking water, even though you don't.
Thank you, Navah. You too.
Okay.
Drink water. Drink plenty of water.
I always drink water.
And shalom aloha.
Shalom aloha, everyone.
We'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
Bye-bye.